They brought you Gitchy Girl and Gitchy Girl Uncovered, but tonight the authors are about to release their new book, Duct Tape Killer.
It is the horrifying story of convicted serial killer Robert Leroy Anderson, who kidnapped and murdered 2 area women more than 20 years ago. A third managed to escape. Many believe Anderson, who was sentenced to death row, would have killed more women had he not been caught. Tonight on Eye on Kettleland, we sit down with the authors who have teamed up with one of the prosecutors who helped them write the chilling chapters of the crimes, the capture, and the conviction of Robert Leroy Anderson.
Wadded up duct tape found south of...
In the mid-1990s, a man by the name of Robert Leroy Anderson stalked, kidnapped, and killed 2 area women, both who were married and had young children. Their names were Larissa Demansky and Piper Streyle. But as you'll find out in the new book, Duct Tape Killer, Anderson wanted more.
Robert Leroy Anderson was pure evil.
He was kind of like a Ted Bundy. He put across one personality to his family. He was able to carry off making people think that he was a good person, and in reality he was more of a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. He was one person to the people who knew him and somebody else entirely different.
Yes, he used him and used him.
Phil and Sandy Hammond co-authored the book, Duct Tape Killer.
Duct Tape Killer was kind of Robert Leroy Anderson's signature. He used duct tape in a variety of ways in this crime.
Good afternoon. Testimony in the Robert Leroy Anderson murder trial again is coming from a victim's husband. Today,
even though the cases were highly publicized on the Daily News, they say readers will find new details never heard before about Anderson's heinous crimes.
Anderson pointed to some pine trees and said that would be a good place to bury someone.
Well, there's going to be some very interesting things in this book that nobody knows. The media, the public that even followed the case maybe very closely.
To help tell the story of the serial killer, the Hammonds enlisted the help of one of the people who knew the case better than anyone else, former Judge Larry Long, who helped prosecute Anderson back then.
They indicated they were going to write about this topic, and they wanted me to provide the background for them and the factual basis. I provided the facts and reviewed the documents and reviewed the drafts that they had written and rewrote some of it myself. And I was primarily their fact checker.
Some of those facts that came out after a 2-year investigation revealed Anderson had some of Demansky's jewelry hidden in his mother's house. They also found various forms of homemade tire poppers, which he tried using to disable vehicles on the highway. He also disguised his truck with black temper paint that could be washed off easily, so if there were any witnesses, they wouldn't be able to give an accurate description of the vehicle he was driving. But the evidence didn't stop there.
The evidence that we have indicates that Mrs. Demansky was bound with duct tape as part of the abduction and died as a result of being suffocated by having duct tape wrapped around her head.
Investigators believe Streyle, whose body was never found, was kidnapped and killed in the same manner. The Hammonds say Long was a big help in writing the book.
It made it much easier to write the story because he's just a wealth of information, and then Phil usually writes the first draft and I kind of polish it, and I always want to add more, and then he says, no, we have to keep the book a readable length because we want people, even people who aren't avid readers, to be able to read the book.
The one shocking thing they learned through their research was that Anderson was not a dumb criminal.
I thought that Robert Leroy Anderson was operating at kind of a low intellectual level, but he was actually very, very smart, and that was one thing that allowed him to carry out such sophisticated crimes at such a young age.
He was intelligent. He was smart. He didn't have much of a criminal record. My personal view was he believed that he was smarter than everybody else.
But Anderson made mistakes. Investigators found a roll of duct tape in the back of Anderson's truck and something else that proved Streyle had been there too.
All we found of Mrs. Streyle were 2 human head hairs with hair roots, but the technology of the day was able to extract DNA from those hair roots and establish that those were Mrs. Streyle's hairs. And we found them in the back of Mr. Anderson's truck.
Plus, that duct tape that was found in the back of Anderson's truck matched up perfectly with some other strands of duct tape that investigators found in an area by the Big Sioux River south of Baltic, where a piece of Striley's shirt was found. It was the big break in the case they needed.
Without the identification of those two hairs that we found in the back of Anderson's truck, I don't know that we'd have gotten a conviction. It was crucial evidence.
The planning that went into these crimes, he planned out every detail. He took weeks and months. It was all that he thought about. He was obsessed with it, which is common with serial killers, and he just spent almost every minute of every day planning out how he would carry out his crimes.
And one could say it's probably the biggest crime that's ever come out of this area.
He was an evil man. He might have been the most evil man I was ever involved with.
Anderson, who was on death row waiting to die by lethal injection, took his own life in prison in 2003. He was found hanging in his cell by a bedsheet tied to a bar. Duct Taped Killer will be released January 15th, and some of the proceeds will be donated to help victims of domestic violence. All three authors will be at a book signing at Barnes & Noble in Sioux Falls on January 18th.
Well, the Minnesota Vikings extended their season with